Some time ago, when you could say these two games were almost head-to-head in terms of popularity, we did a comparison of the two called Fortnite Battle Royale versus PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. What we found out is that the games are not dissimilar in terms of concept. Perhaps the biggest difference is that PUBG is more realistic, while Fortnite is often called cartoonish. It seems Fortnite is currently winning the war, with recent reports stating that the game has 125 million players across all platforms, and each month, around 40 million people log in to play. PUBG, on the other hand, while still having a massive fan base of many millions, has seen its player count drop recently. Today we're going to look at each game's players. In this episode of the Infographics show, PUBG players versus Fortnite players. Okay, so can the players really be all that different? Well, firstly, we'll have to say a few things about the games themselves. As we said in the intro, PUBG is a bit grittier, which will entice some players that want more realism in their game. That's just a basic aesthetic preference that plays on the sensations. Then we might add that PUBG comes with a price tag and will scare away many players. We might even say that if you have money to buy the game, you might be older, and older players might prefer grittier gameplay over something more fun-like. Another reason why players might have gone over to Fortnite is the fact that PUBG has had problems with cheats, which nobody really wants when the ego is involved in a deathmatch with strangers. Add to that the fact it has had many bugs, and you can see why numbers might be decreasing for PUBG. These are just a few things that might shape how players think about the games. Then you've got the very different maps. PUBG, except for its Sandhawk map, has far bigger maps. You can spend a lot of time just wandering around alone. This can attract players for a multitude of reasons. Are you what we might call the lonely hunter, a kind of atavistic hero who enjoys being lost in the wilderness and stalking prey? Do you have lots of patience traversing large tracts of land? If so, PUBG might be for you. Again, we believe older players might enjoy this more than young bucks who enjoy being thrust into the action on Fortnite. Okay, you can hide on Fortnite, but not for too long. On another note, PUBG players can get lucky in this wilderness, while Fortnite players will find themselves having to fight it out in not much time. At the same time, PUBG maps are sometimes difficult to navigate, and finding yourself out in wide open spaces can be a high-risk strategy. There's also the added plus of being able to get into a vehicle on PUBG, but we can't really collate that with a certain type of player. Most players enjoy virtual driving. We might add that some media said the reason why PUBG created smaller maps is because some players had had enough of this lost in the wilderness routine. So, we're already seeing how players might be different. The same goes for weapons, in that, again, PUBG could be said to be more complex. And again, this might suit older players, or even players that have played similar games before. The array of weapons in PUBG is far more vast than in Fortnite. Even getting the weapons in PUBG can be a hair-raising experience, fraught with danger, while in Fortnite, you could play with your eyes closed and probably end up picking up some kind of weapon. Moreover, PUBG weapons are graded in rarity from common, uncommon, and rare, but there's no color grade to tell you that. Fortnite lets you know. Using the weapons in PUBG is also more complex, with things such as bullet velocity to take into account, or what type of ammo you should use. Taking all this into account, we must say that PUBG could be said to be a more serious game for more serious players. That's not taking anything away from Fortnite. After all, there's a lot to be said about creating a game so many people can enjoy. Fortnite welcomes players with its beautiful graphics and stunning scenes, and the fact that it's not so complex makes it a kind of everyman's game. The family can play and sit around laughing just like families did playing Pac-Man in the 80s. It's hard to imagine that happening with PUBG. But we should add here that building in Fortnite is no easy feat. As you've seen from watching some of the best players, truly great builders can erect structures seemingly as if they were doing it by magic. This takes skill, dexterity, quick thinking, and creativity, while in PUBG you don't have the option to build and instead have to rely on what's already out there if you want to hide behind something. This creativity of building in Fortnite is a compelling attraction for many players, and if you can't build well, don't expect to win too many games. To sum up game differences in a very basic way, PUBG is tenser, you must be patient, and you will need to have more smarts about you when it comes to fighting. Fortnite is more accessible, easier to play, but it has an element of creativity that is missing in PUBG. Now we will look at what actual players think. Forbes published an article in 2018 about a PUBG player that said he finally went over to Fortnite just to see what it was like. It was love at first sight. The player liked the graphics, but also the way the character could move, being able to springboard off tires to high places, and move the player in ways he said PUBG would never allow you to. He went as far as to call PUBG player movement clumsy. As for shooting, he said being good at that on PUBG works well for Fortnite. But the real difference was building. something he said was fun to learn and was a great asset to the game and of course player survival. Fortnite's satisfying gunplay, tactical building, and its ability to add elements of fun and oddball mechanics make it truly a blast, he concluded. Oh, and prior to that, he alluded that some PUBG players are snobbish and recoil from playing a game that looks like a child's cartoon. Most media we can find mirrors what we have said. PUBG is more complex, Fortnite is more fun. So, what are the players on forums saying? Are PUBG players really snobs? Are many Fortnite players maladroit, trigger-happy imbeciles that don't like being alone? As one person pointed out, is Fortnite only popular because it's free? We'll give you a rundown on why players said PUBG was better. Here are some quotes. PUBG gives you satisfaction of getting a kill. I just don't like the cartoonish feel of Fortnite. Players obtain a sense of pride and accomplishment. The return on investment for playing a game of PUBG is much higher. I find PUBG to be more in-depth, in a sense that you have to do a bit more with what you pick up. As for Fortnite being better, here are some other quotes. I believe one of the advantages Fortnite has over PUBG is that the game actually freaking works. Fortnite is popular because it is family-friendly, free, well-supported, free, fast-paced, free, constantly updated, and don't forget free. Fortnite is better paced with better mechanics. Building is primary and gunplay is secondary in Fortnite, which allows for more control and more opportunities to outplay your opponent. Our favorite comment reflected what we've been saying from the start. I play Fortnite when I want a casual game, I play PUBG when I want to play serious. In the end, that's what it's all about. PUBG is a more serious game. That doesn't mean it's a better game, but by just reading Reddit threads, it seems that PUBG players might take their gaming more seriously than Fortnite players on the whole. It seems players are playing both games these days, but we can bet that a lot of Fortnite novices won't be going over to PUBG. You could say that there are fruity wines that everyone can enjoy, and there are complex wines that attract a smaller number of die-hard fans. PUBG is a more complex wine, and Fortnite goes down like fruit juice. To some extent, this reflects on who plays the game. There have been polls on the subject regarding which game is best, such as NFL star JJ Watt's Twitter poll, which ended 74% to 26% in favor of Fortnite from 45,341 voters. Another poll we found resulted in 54 to 46% for Fortnite, but that was only from 1,961 voters. The Express newspaper in the UK held a poll and over 70,000 readers replied. The result was close, with Fortnite winning at 51% to 49%. So, what do you think? Which game do you think is better, and how do you think the players differ overall? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video called Ninja vs. You. How do you compare in Fortnite? Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!